oh boy, do you know what today is? Today is Canada's 150th birthday. And what does Canada's birthday celebrate, you might ask? Well, see, 150 years ago, there were a bunch of British colonies in the northern half of North America. And on July 1st, 1867, their politicians got together and wrote a constitution in which they agreed to work together and form a big, giant new country. A country called Canada. And that is all the historical detail that I'm going to get into right now, because what we are going to do today, by popular demand, is talk about what became of those individual British colonies, which are now known as the Provinces of Canada. And to assist in talking about the Provinces of Canada, we are going to look at this charming children's map that I bought at Staples. Oh, there's a whole bunch of other stuff here as well. We'll talk about that later. We are going to have to adjust the lighting because we are getting too much reflection on the map. All right, so as you can see, we have Canada, and it is split up into a bunch of different colored provinces. Important Canadian fact number one, the provinces are not actually different colors in real life. There are 10 provinces in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And the important thing to know as well is that there are 3 northern provinces, but they are not called provinces, they are called territories. The 3 northern territories are the Yukon Territory, the Northwest Territory, and Nunavut, which is this huge sprawling archipelago of islands in the very far north. The population of the northern territories is very low, a little over 100,000 people. It is some of the world's most inhospitable terrain, particularly the far northern parts. It is not a part of the country that Canadians think very much about one way or another. All right, so let's go through the provinces one by one. First, most importantly, we have British Columbia, which is the province where I live and the province where I am speaking to you from right now. British Columbia is on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. It is the only province of Canada that borders the Pacific Ocean. It has a population of about 5 million people, the majority of whom live in or around the city of Vancouver in the south. Fun fact about Canada, almost everyone in Canada lives in the south. Stereotypes associated with British Columbia include pine trees, orca whales, the 2010 Olympics, and people being high all the time because of all of the pot grown in Vancouver. Moving one province to the east, we have the province of Alberta. The border between British Columbia and Alberta is the Rocky Mountains, which is home to Canada's most famous national park, Banff, which you've probably seen on a postcard at some point in your life. Alberta is part of what is known as the prairie region of Canada, which is to say that once you get past the Rocky Mountains, the land gets very flat very quickly and is dominated by rolling hills and farmland. Alberta has about 4 million people, the majority of whom live in the cities of Edmonton and Calgary. Stereotypes associated with Alberta include the province's ample oil reserves, people being cowboys, people being very religious, people being very conservative, and people being very rich, unless the oil prices are down, which they are now. All right, so one province over, we have Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is a rectangular province dominated by farmland and agriculture. It has about 1 million people, and its stereotypes are farmland and agriculture. And one province more to the east, we have Manitoba. Manitoba, as you can maybe see from this map, is dominated by lakes and marshland. It has about 1 million people, most of whom live around the city of Winnipeg. I would say it is Canada's most obscure province in the sense of being a place that not many people think about. And it doesn't even have very clear stereotypes. I would say it is mostly known for having bad weather, and maybe the northern part of Manitoba is sort of well known because you can go on polar bear watching tours there. Okay, and now we are on to the biggest province, the province of Ontario. Ontario has close to 14 million people, which means close to 40% of all Canadians live there. And the majority of Canadians who do live there live in and around the city of Toronto. Ontario is also home to the capital of Canada, over here in Ottawa. Geographically, Ontario is dominated by the Great Lakes, and most Ontarians live in the bottom part here, around Lake Huron and Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Ontarians think they're a real big deal because they have so many people and so many big cities, and there is a big rivalry between the east and west parts of Canada. Stereotypes associated with Ontario include loud people, obnoxious people, rude people, arrogant people, ugly people, and Niagara Falls. All right, and now we have Quebec. Quebec has about 8 million people and is the second biggest province in Canada. Quebec's biggest cities are Montreal and Quebec City, which are located around the St. Lawrence River, which is also how the first European explorers entered Canada. The most important thing to know about Quebec is that it is dominated by French Canadians. Everywhere else in Canada is dominated by English speakers. Quebec is the only part of the country where the majority is French speaking. The fact that they speak French and not English has fostered a lot of alienation from the rest of Canada over the years. There is a Quebec separatist movement that wants to leave Canada altogether and form a separate country. Stereotypes associated with Quebec include speaking French, being upset that not everyone else speaks French, wanting to separate from Canada, and poutine. All right, and now we have the final 4 provinces of Canada, which are all peninsulas and islands in the Atlantic Ocean. Next to the far north, this is the most underpopulated part of the country. The provinces are Newfoundland and Labrador, which are the 2 bodies of land here, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and tiny Prince Edward Island right here. All of the Atlantic Canadian provinces have basically the same stereotypes. They include lighthouses, fishing, rain, being poor, and weird accents.
Got enough aloe in there to fill a bucket?
Alright, so that's basically all you need to know about the Canadian provinces to fake your way through a conversation. Now let's get on to the bonus content. By the way, what do you think of these new lights? Do they make a big difference? Alright, so the Happy Children's map also came with a bunch of other Canadian gewgaws. Let's see if we can get through these quickly. We have the flag of Canada, the coat of arms of Canada, which is quite a hideous abomination. I will have to do a video about this at some future point. We have hockey, the national sport of Canada. We have a totem pole by the Indian people of Canada. I think this is actually the Thunderbird totem pole from Vancouver, so take that, Ontario. This is the beaver, the national animal of Canada. This is the Canadian goose, which is not one of the national animals of Canada, as we would know if we've seen my previous video. Here is the Parliament of Canada in Ottawa. Here is the national anthem of Canada, and the national anthem of Canada en français. This is a Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Canada's beloved national police force, and the money of Canada, all of the different Canadian coins, including the Canadian penny, which was discontinued recently. So once again, I hope you have enjoyed this batch of Canadian facts coming at you. I realize this was a pretty superficial overview of a lot of things, so if there's anything you would like to hear me talk about in more detail in a future video, please let me know in the comments below. And happy Canada 150 to us all!